Hello and welcome to a lowdown weather alert for this weekend. We're watching extreme temperature variations as well as a wildfire danger. And we had fairly tranquil, nice weather the past couple of days um, after kind of a stormy Wednesday with all the wind. But Thursday turned out to be pretty nice. It was a pretty nice, clear day. And as you saw, I was in the Pine Barrens, and it was a nice. It was fairly warm during the day. Still got fairly warm. You saw that video. I was on the Pine Barrens. Oh, that's from today. But and then I almost had to spend the night in the Pine Barrens as well because I was stranded in Deer Park, and I don't really publicly make those kind of videos anymore. But I am doing them still on other platforms and as well as for Passengers United. So. Luckily I was eventually able to get a ride home, but I was stranded here for about 3 hours. So, and got kind of cold last night too. So, it was a nice day though, all in all. So, yesterday turned out to be very nice. We'll show you what the satellite looked like yesterday, and you'll see here, not a cloud in the sky. It was very nice. There was some scattered cirrus. Whoa, almost thought I saw some wildfire smoke there. There was, I think, a fire over Pennsylvania, however. That did develop later on. I did notice a smoke plume on the satellite from that. So it looked like right here, yep, right there was a wildfire somewhere in Pennsylvania. So we have the fire danger, and we already have a wildfire in New Jersey, a 500-acre wildfire in Vineland. So these are the conditions that we have because we are still, let me remind people, we can go to the drought monitor, and at this point, you look at this map, and you can see most of the area isn't in a shading anymore. But honestly, especially here on Long Island, things are still very dry. And this is part of why I think I made that video a while ago about fading color in the pines. Luckily, the pines were nice and green yesterday. But I think this is what happened. I think we were in a more significant drought than that map indicates, and still are, because take a look at this. There's usually water in this. This is a little pond off Route 25 in Ridge. There ain't any water in this pond at all. So we are still in a drought on Long Island. I don't care what that map says because those ponds are like very low. They're low or they're drying. They're drying up. So we have a 500-acre wildfire in the
wildlife management area
in the Pine Barrens.
It has so-called Danny's Wild.
These are in the Pine Barrens here, so southern New Jersey, much further south than Ocean County, but the Pine Barrens are very vast there. So there's this 500-acre wildfire that's going on, and these are the conditions we have. So, we're gonna have to watch for this. Now, as far as today goes, we had a lot of cirrus around to start, and then it kind of broke up a little bit. We actually had mostly sunny conditions for a little bit before the cirrus kind of rolled in more as we got toward the afternoon. So, as far as today goes, I was at Pine Lawn after. There isn't anything to see over there as far as what happened last night, but I was looking at some of the cherry blossoms and some pines, of course, and more cherry blossoms. And you had mostly clear skies. There was some cirrus from time to time. You could see a little bit of it here. And then the thicker cirrus kind of rolled in toward the evening. You could see this is the thicker stuff that was rolling in on us. And then as we got toward sunset, the sky looked like this. And this is kind of a sky where you could see a little bit of mid-level, almost upper-level precipitation here. And sure enough, we actually had some sprinkles tonight, which I wasn't expecting at all. You could see them on the radar. They kind of broke apart, but there were some sprinkles that we had tonight around. So we'll go over our temperatures the past couple of days because we did have some pretty big variations in temperature. So first we're going to look at today's climatological report, a high of 62 and a low of 34. That's a pretty big variation in temperature. So 3 degrees above normal for the high, 8 degrees below normal for the low. And you can see that's a pretty big variation in temperature. So that helps to dry things out even more when we have such big variations in temperature. And for yesterday, go to yesterday's high of yesterday's too, a high of 62 as well. So I have 62 and a low of 41. 3 degrees above normal for the high. The low is 1 degree below normal. And then if we were to look at West Hampton, which we'll go ahead and look at on this map here. We are in the mid-50s, so we've got the mid-50s. But let's go look at what the low was in West Hampton this morning, because I'm sure it got, 25 degrees. That's pretty cold. It is pretty cold. So a low of 25 degrees. Everybody got down to around freezing. There was a freeze watch also for, I think, East End. Mid-30s, and then you went to the city. It was warmer, and then Pine Barrens in Jersey also got down to 28. And then for the highs today, we got into the mid-60s. And there was a sea breeze that kept things cooler on Long Island. However, in Jersey, look at that, low 70s at Miller Air Park, so much, much warmer there. South wind off the land versus off the water here kept the temperatures much cooler. We will go ahead and look at West Hampton, just what it was like the past couple of days here. So you can see here West Hampton. You can see here the sea breeze kicking in and keeping things cool. We go to yesterday, and this is what it got down to this morning, very chilly, below freezing, no surprise. Won't be that cold tonight. And then for the yesterday morning, I don't think we had any radiational cooling. I'm going to go back and see. Yeah, there wasn't any. So, well, actually, no, there was. It got into the, there was enough of a wind to keep the temperatures up. It got into the upper 30s. It was pretty chilly yesterday morning, but there was radiational cooling last night. We're not going to have that tonight at all, but that also helps to dry things out. So you'll notice it's been kind of windy, too, as well. We look at some of the observations from islip. We had some stronger winds earlier, and actually we had a max wind gust of 33, so not wind advisory weather, but still, things are dry. This is what happens. So temperatures generally are in the mid-50s now, low to mid-50s across the area. Still in the low 60s, however, if you're in Ocean County, New Jersey. And actually, this is probably the warm front right here. That's what those showers were. If we look at the weather map, you'll see there's that warm front approaching. So that is going to bring up our temperatures quite a bit for tomorrow as well. So, and of course, in my alley, it's it's some. I was actually cold standing out by Roosevelt Field, but I get my apartment is hot because the alley is only 58 degrees. That's right, 58 degrees.
Oh, I hate this place!
Doesn't mean I'm not going to play that. Still going to play that. So you can't get air in here. It's always hot in here. It's hot morning, noon, and night. And 365 days a year. So now that we looked at the current weather, let's go and look at what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow as we deal with this fire. Now, they don't have a fire weather watch on this thing. They don't have a fire. There was, I saw it on News 12. I don't see it on this map. It's not on here. I don't see it on here either. Conditions are going to be favorable for wildfire spread tomorrow because of the low humidity and the warm temperatures, the high winds, and the low humidity, which we're not going to have much rain in the forecast, so the fire risk is actually going to be increasing as we go through things. So let's look at the models here and show you what we got for this weekend. So we got this warm front coming through, and you can see the isobars lining up on a southwesterly flow. Pretty strong southwesterly winds, too, I might add, for tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we have a cold front comes through, and another high builds in for Easter Sunday with less wind and cooler temperatures and more sunshine. But tomorrow will be quite warm with that southwesterly when you see the isobars. You see the way they're pointing. So let's look at the HRRR first. We have most of that in. So you can see the isobars actually getting pretty tight. So the winds are going to be picking up tomorrow, and that's a concern. Windy, warm, dry conditions enhance the spread for wildfires. And now there's a small chance of actually, look at this. This is the other thing that we have to watch for. Take a look at that. That looks like a pretty significant thunderstorm coming through around 8 o'clock with the cold front. And that looks like a pretty significant thunderstorm right there. Now, I don't think SPC has put us in anything. I'll go and I'll look. I don't think they have. I'll look and see. Obviously, it's all in the midsection of the country, but let's just go to tomorrow. They've got nothing for our area, but that looks pretty impressive. At least that's a pretty heavy shower. So while most of the day will be dry, there could be a downpour around 8 o'clock or so, or maybe even a thunderstorm. It'll be brief, and then it'll be over. And then for Sunday, maybe a few little sprinkles, looks like off the South Shore, and then fair weather for your Easter Sunday with that high building in. And there could be a decent amount of clouds around Sunday. Some of the models are kind of all over the place. Could be some high clouds. But Sunday's generally going to have more sunshine than tomorrow, despite tomorrow being the warmer of the 2 days. So looking at the dew point and wind flow will show you that it does get a little more humid tomorrow. So that might help mitigate the fire risk a little bit. But the winds pick up, and that's the problem. You can see the wind trajectories from the southwest, almost west-southwest. So if you're on the South Shore, further out in Suffolk County, that's where it's going to be cooler. But I still think where I live, I think we're going to go up to 80 degrees. Central Nassau, northwest Suffolk, 80 degrees. 70s and most elsewhere on Long Island on the immediate South Shore highs, probably in the 60s. And then you have that, look at that dew point pool that happens. So we have multiple alerts here that we got to watch for. Not only the wind, the fire risk, but also the possibility of a thunderstorm tomorrow night. And then you can see for Sunday, the winds shift to the northwest and then west, and then we see the dew points drop quite a bit. The winds aren't as strong, but the dew points are lower, so that's still a concern, depending on if we get any rain from these thunderstorms. So take a look at how it's going to heat up tomorrow. So tonight, you can see the cooler temperatures over Long Island. They're going to start rising everywhere. By morning, we're probably going to be already in the 60s around 9 o'clock or so, and then well into the 70s, and you can see 80 degrees, mid-80s in Jersey, possibly exceeding 80. It looks like, again, a lot of Nassau County, North Shore, Suffolk, getting close to or eclipsing the 80-degree mark. 70s everywhere else. And then you can see there, sea breeze influence is not very strong tomorrow. So with that southwest, west-southwesterly flow, even on the South Shore, unless you're further out in Suffolk County, even well into the afternoon, I think you're going to be seeing 70s. And it's going to be staying warm to the evening, 70s, upper 70s, and then maybe after that thunderstorm, maybe the temperatures drop a little bit to around 70, but still going to be pretty warm. And then by Sunday morning, though, it's going to be back into feeling a little chilly. And again, these are the wild temperature swings, 50 degrees. And then for Sunday, we'll get up probably to around 60 degrees, maybe low 60s, so slightly above normal. Tomorrow will be well above normal with this. Now, I will look at a few other models as far as that thunderstorm activity goes. I don't really have the 0 ZNAM, and I'd have to roll this back to the 18 ZNAM. But we can look at the thunderstorm threat for tomorrow. So it's got some activity to the north, but again, here's that front. And you can see the timing's a little bit later, but there's going to be a brief threat for a shower thunderstorm with this front. We'll go to let's do the HDRPS. Let's see if this does anything unique here. Yeah, look at this. It almost looks like an MCC coming in. Looks like we just get into the fringe of it. It looks like it's got a pretty impressive cluster of thunderstorms. Don't count on not having a thunderstorm tomorrow night because with such warm air in place and a front coming, that is the recipe for a thunderstorm. So probably not severe, but you never know. You never know. So just any thunderstorm can always wind up being more interesting than it normally is. We'll go to the clouds. Obviously, a good deal of high cloudiness tomorrow. There will be some breaks, high, mid-level clouds, and then we'll try to get those clouds to push to the south on Sunday and hopefully get a mostly sunny day, but you can see that we're going to be on the edge of the high clouds. So we should be more sunshine, though, for Sunday. And that's probably the better day of the week, even though everybody will say, oh, tomorrow is better because it's warmer. The sky's going to look better on Sunday, I think. So Ventus sky. Let's go and look at some of the Ventus sky on here, some of the parameters for Cape and as well as the heat, just to visualize the heat again for tomorrow. So here we are, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see close to 80 and a lot of Long Island. So there is a southwest wind, but you really have to be right on the South Shore to really get really cool. And you're going to be a big contrast. Like if you're at the beach, it's probably going to be cold, like upper 40s. You go inland, you're dealing with 70s. So big difference. And, of course, Jersey, you'll probably get well above 80. You can see it stays warm fairly late, even 5 o'clock. Not showing much because of that westerly component off Jersey. That kind of keeps Nassau County kind of warm. So the sea breeze is going to have a stronger effect if you're further out east, I think. And then even 8 o'clock, look at how warm it is, still 70s. And as we go into 10 o'clock, you can see the front coming through, and then the wind slowly shifts, but it'll still be warm. It'll take a while for it to cool off. So let's go look at wind gusts here for tomorrow and see if we see any. I don't think we're going to need any wind advisory, but the problem is these wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour could help spread any wildfires. And, of course, if there are thunderstorms as well and there's lightning, that could also start wildfires as well. So that also has to be watched as well. Let's look at that thunderstorm risk here. Look at this. It does show some cape to the north of us. So the potential for a strong or maybe even severe thunderstorm possible. I wouldn't discount it. I don't know why that's not being brought up, but the atmosphere definitely, when you have such a warm air mass and it's humid too, that is the energy you need for a thunderstorm. So that is the threat for tomorrow. That is your weather alert. The wildfire threat, the warmth, and then these thunderstorms that are going to occur. So that is going to wrap things up. Have a good night, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.